Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus reports, and this is Ben and Barry on football.
Hello out there, this is Ben Dickerson, your co-host. Today is Wednesday, April 27th, correct? Tomorrow is the draft, so we are making this video the day before the draft. It's been a fun off season so far. It's about to get even better. I'm expecting this draft to be super interesting. I believe there's going to be a whole lot of curves being thrown by teams at each other and by teams at their fans. You'll hear a lot of yelling and screaming. You're going to hear a lot of booing. And you're going to hear some big time cheers from certain teams. I can't wait.
So, how did you approach the mock draft that we're about to do?
Okay, so first of all, I put this mock together pretty much the way it would normally be done. In other words, I looked at a lot of film. I remember some players from actually seeing them playing games. So, you know, we got the old eye test going on. Then I looked up some heights and measurements and weights and 40 times. And I used that information to compile the list that I did over the last two shows that we did, the last 2 weeks. So I took my top offensive players at each offensive position and my top defensive players from each defensive position. And that information, along with a couple of mock drafts that I just picked out of the air from different so-called experts, I put all that together and I came out with what I thought would be the best representation of who each team should select. Let's remember, during the owners' meetings, who knows what kind of little backdoor deals have already been put into place that will go into effect tomorrow during the draft. Who knows what teams that have multiple first-round picks, and there are quite a few, will decide to maybe trade up or trade back. Who knows, okay? So when I did my mock draft, I wasn't able to use all that speculation. So all the picks that I made for each individual team would be as if each team actually kept their pick and actually selected a player at that time. So it won't be exactly right, but what I'm hoping for is that I hit on a few teams that take the same player that I think they should take. And even if they trade out of that position, the team that trades into it, perhaps they will take the player that I predicted will go in the first round because they felt like he wouldn't be there in the second round or be there late in the first and they needed to trade up to get him. So that's how I'll be reviewing myself during the actual draft tomorrow night.
That's an interesting thing because, you know, I lose track and interest in all the different mock drafts. You know, every 5 minutes they're making the adjustments. It's a lot of different people saying a lot of different stuff. You know, one of my favorite people is Cynthia Freeland because she just takes a mathematical approach, you know. But
even she changes hers though.
Yeah, even she changes hers, yeah. And because again, some of the stuff has already changed, like the Eagles draft pick swap that they had with the Saints, you know? So if you had a mock before that, now you got to change your mock, you know? Right. So that's a daunting task, and I got to give you credit for attempting it. So let's get going with how are you going to kick this off, 32 or 1?
No, I'm going to start at 1 and go on down.
Starting at the first pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Ben Dickerson mock draft selects number 1 going to
the number 1 pick overall for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe that they will, and I believe that they should select defensive end edge rusher Trayvon Walker out of Georgia. Again, just like when I did my other lists about the players that I thought that were the best players at each position, you're going to hear Georgia's name a lot. You'll hear George's name a lot during this actual mock draft also. Now, obviously, I don't expect this to go exactly the way I think it is, but it might. So that being said, I'm going to say right here, Jacksonville actually could go offensive line as well as defensive line here, but it's going to be very hard for them to pass on a pass rushing freak like Trayvon Walker. So I believe that's who they should select. At number 2, the Detroit Lions will take a defensive end, also edge rusher. That would be Aiden Hutchinson. Now, the Lions have a lot of needs. One of them's quarterback, but number 2 overall, I don't think there's any quarterbacks in this draft that are worthy of the number 2 selection overall. So they'll go with an edge rusher. They'll go with Aiden Hutchinson, who also played at Michigan. So that's a good fit there, and probably it'll be a fan favorite. So taking that into consideration and considering that he is one of the top guys at that position, that would be a good pick for Detroit. At pick number 3, the Houston Texans, I believe, will take offensive tackle Evan Neal out of Alabama. Now, the Texans have decided to go with Davis Mills at quarterback. All this quarterback thing going on, they decided, hey, we had to play Davis Mills because of the Deshaun Watson thing and injuries and all of that. And they liked the way the guy played. They liked the way the kid played. He was a rookie last year. They thought he played well. They thought he had potential. It looks like they're going to attempt to make him their quarterback of the future. So to give him a chance, they got to protect him. They already have Laramie Tunsil as a fixture at left tackle. So Evan Neal, who can play both tackles, and I believe also play guard some in college, should be able to come in at right tackle and start immediately. So that'll be a big plus for the Texans and for Davis Mills, the quarterback.
Evan Neal, eh?
Yes, sir. Evan Neal.
I saw Evan Neal on one of the shows, man. He offensive linemen, there's a certain cerebral aspect that they carry around with them, and he has that.
That is true. And since you mentioned that, my next pick's got a ton of that. And let me tell you, this guy is going to be on TV one day for sure. Number 4, the New York Jets, I believe, will take edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau. We've been hearing a lot about Thibodeau. He said some controversial things, but from what I've heard, the Jets, who have several needs, and they've been drafting offense heavy for the last 2 years, this time they're going to go for a big-time player, name, and a big-time rep, and a really good skill set on defense. And that should be very encouraging to the fan base, I think. I just watched him a few minutes ago doing an interview on ESPN live from Las Vegas, and the guy took the show over. He took over the show. I forget the young lady that was hosting the show. Swagoo was on there. This kid took the show over. He was tremendous, speaks extremely well, very knowledgeable. I wouldn't say he's full of himself like some people thought he came off early on. I think he's just extremely confident. That's all. But he didn't just talk about himself. He talked about other things too. And I thought that was pretty cool. Plus, word on the street is him and head coach Robert Saleh kind of got a little thing going on too. Saleh really likes him. So I think Thibodeau will probably go with the New York Jets. At number 5, my team, the New York Giants, take offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu. I believe Ike Ekwonu can play either left tackle or right tackle. I believe they like the left tackle they picked up last year, Andrew. I can't remember his last name, doggone it. I got names flying around in my head right now. But I love Ike Ekwonu. He's from NC State. In my opinion, the Giants are one stud offensive lineman away from fixing their run game. And this guy is mean and nasty in the run game and a very good pass blocker also. If anything, he can help get Saquon back on track, which is going to be very important for the Giants offense. Real mean, real nasty. If you line up in front of him, he's going to give you trouble all day long. So I like Ike Ekwonu. for the New York Giants. At number 6, the Carolina Panthers. They also take an offensive tackle. That would be Charles Cross from Mississippi State. Now, the Panthers need a quarterback in the worst way. But they need, if they pick a quarterback, he's got to be a guy that could be a day one starter. I don't know that any of these guys are day one starters. And the word is that Malik Willis would probably be their guy, but I believe that they're going to make a move to try to get either Baker Mayfield or Jimmy G. Okay? So I got my ear to the streets. That's what I'm hearing. So I don't think they will take a quarterback here. They'll try to get one like Baker or Jimmy because they need a veteran. And they're not sure if any of these quarterbacks coming out can really start from day one. So, you know, that being said, a big, strong offensive lineman is exactly what you need if you're going to pick up a veteran quarterback. So Charles Cross is the pick there for Carolina. At number 7, the New York Giants get the pick again, and they get my guy, my favorite player, Ahmad Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. Star power means a lot in New York. Sauce is that dude. This guy went an entire college career without giving up a touchdown. It's ridiculous. Sauce, welcome to the Giants. Just hope it really happens. At number 8, the Atlanta Falcons, they go with quarterback Malik Willis out of Liberty. Now, here's the deal. Yeah, excuse me?
Wow, really?
Yes, this is why I say this. Just like Carolina, the Falcons need a quarterback badly. They struck out on the Deshaun Watson deal because, remember, they went all out for Deshaun Watson, and they didn't get him. Then they traded Matt Ryan away. They got a 3rd-round pick in that deal, I believe. I think they also have 2 second-round picks. And they grabbed Marcus Mariota. So now you have Marcus Mariota as insurance to play and let Willis develop. If Willis develops as quickly as they hope he will, before the season is over, maybe he takes over. If not, then Mariota will carry him, and then next year you'll have a competition. But they have to think about their quarterback of the future. Malik Willis looks like he's going to be their guy. Yeah, I know.
So is that 8?
That's number 8.
All right, so let's just run 1 through 8 real quick, if you can.
Okay. At pick number 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars select defensive end Trayvon Walker. Number 2, Detroit Lions select defensive end Aiden Hutchinson. At number 3, the Houston Texans select offensive tackle Evan Neal. Number 4, the Jets, Kayvon Thibodeau. Number 5, the Giants, offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu. Number 6, Carolina Panthers, offensive tackle Charles Cross. Number 7, the Giants get Sauce Gardner. And number 8, the Atlanta Falcons select quarterback Malik Willis.
Malik Willis just reminds me of Trey Lance so much in terms of the things that they can do athletically. But isn't the quarterback from Pittsburgh our fake slot quarterback? That's the guy from Pittsburgh, right?
Correct.
I think he got a lot of play. I'm interested to hear where if he even comes up in this mock draft top 32 here in the 1st round. Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Let's see. So we're going to number 9?
Number 9. At number 9, we have the Seattle Seahawks. I believe the Seattle Seahawks will pick one of my favorite defensive ends, and a couple I've already said are going to go, but I think this guy fits them very well. That's Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a team that needs to make upgrades on defense starts with the most important defensive position. That's obviously edge rusher. Besides corner, edge rusher is probably the most important defensive position is what I'm trying to say. And I think Jermaine Johnson fits that bill. So I'm looking for him to go to the Seahawks. At number 10, The New York Jets get to pick again, and guess who they take? Cornerback Derek Stingley from LSU.
Oh, Stingley.
Yes, yes. Again, star power. New York teams like star power. It's good for the teams, especially if the guy's a real star and a real game breaker. And it's also good for the fan base. Okay. So they got some more star power. And Coach Robert Saleh, who we know coaches the defense, gets a stud corner for his defense. So that works out really well for the Jets. At number 11, the Washington Commanders, and I'm going to have to get used to saying that, but the Washington Commanders get wide receiver Jameson Williams from Alabama. Now, this guy was projected as the number one wide receiver during the season last season. He was having a great year with Alabama. Everybody was saying this guy is the next best thing to Tyreek Hill, can do all the things that Tyreek Hill can do. You can play him in a zone defense. You can bracket him. You put people over top. He just runs past you. Okay, but then he got a knee injury in the championship game. His stock dropped. Well, supposedly his rehab is going really, really well, and now his stock is rising back up again. So it would be really nice for Washington if they had a Tyreek Hill clone to play next to number one wideout Terry McLaurin, who's basically was a one-man band last year. It was him, and he still couldn't be stopped. So now you line him up with Williams, and you got yourself a nice wide receiver core going on. So that's what I'm looking for Washington Commanders to do. At number 12, we're looking at the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings. So let's look at this. Adam Thielen's getting old. Justin Jefferson is a stud, and he's going to be looking for a big contract in another year or two. So what do? You get that other wide receiver. I think they're going to go with Chris Olave. Chris Olave from Ohio State. Sure-handed, speedy route runner. You put him next to Justin Jefferson, and they can let Adam Thielen age gracefully as the number 3, and it's all good. So, let's face it. When you got a quarterback like Kirk Cousins, you can't give him enough targets. That works for me. Hopefully it works for Minnesota. At number 13, the Houston Texans get to pick again. And I believe I said last week that rumor had it at least 2 weeks ago that there was going to be a run on wide receivers in this draft. And I agree. Okay. Houston Texans are going to take a wide receiver, Treylon Burks, out of Arkansas. Treylon Burks. At number 3, the Texans took an offensive lineman to protect Davis Mills. So now they're going to give him a weapon. And sorry, Niners fans, but from what I'm hearing and what I've seen, this is the guy that's closest to Deebo Samuel. Sorry about that, bro. If you wanted to replace him, which he ain't gone yet, by the way, they don't have to trade him. So don't get too hurt here. I think they will. I believe that they will end up trading him, but they haven't done it yet. But anyway, Treylon Burks is that guy. So keep an eye out for him. At number 14, the Baltimore Ravens, D tackle Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Big time run stuffers on D-line, is a mainstay for the Baltimore Ravens. This guy definitely fits the bill. That's exactly what he is. Can take on double teams, stuffs the run big time. He'll fit right in with the Baltimore Raven mindset of playing defense. At number 15, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know a lot of Eagle fans are not going to agree with me, but I'm telling you, this is the move you need to make. Take the safety, Kyle Hamilton, out of Notre Dame. My brother is going to disagree with me on this one, but they've been needing a safety for a couple seasons now. And this kid, I think he'll fit right in with them. It's a big need for them, first of all. And although Hamilton isn't exactly a speedster, he anticipates really well. He breaks on the ball really well. He's big, and he's got great ball skills. Gets a lot of interceptions, a lot of pass breakups, comes downhill, supports the run. So Kyle Hamilton, I think, will fit right in with the Philadelphia Eagles. At
That's
number
an
6,
interesting pick, Benny.
you think so?
Oh man, because number one, in the video I've seen of him, it's like sideline to sideline, and like you said, when he gets to that sideline, a lot of times he's picking that ball off. What is he like 6'4"?
I believe he's 6'4"-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got good height, and like I said, he might not be super speedy, but as big as he is, doesn't take that many steps to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, 6'4", 220.
Yeah, so and like you said, 220, you can support the run with 220.
Oh, absolutely.
You can support the run. That's an interesting pick right there. Man, in my conference, in your division.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so where are we here? Number 16, the New Orleans Saints. Now, which makes this is going to make the Philadelphia pick even more interesting for one of our friends of the show, our man Mark. Mark told me he likes wide receiver Drake London. Well, I do too, but I like him for the New Orleans Saints. At pick number 16, the Saints take Drake London. He's a big target for Jameis Winston in their ball control passing game. He's got great ball skills, great jumping ability, wins the 50-50 balls most times, works mostly on the sidelines, not a big-time speedster, but a pretty smooth route runner. So I think he fits in there really nice. I don't know if Michael Thomas is coming back or not. I would assume that he is, but this kid's not small. He's like 6'4", 220, somewhere in that area. Matter of fact, I think he's 6'5". He's a good ball player. Again, not real speedy, but a good route runner, good leaper, real great point of attack, great hands. I think he'll fit in well with the New Orleans Saints. Okay, here we go. Number 9, Seattle Seahawks. Defensive end, Jermaine Johnson. Number 10, New York Jets. Cornerback, Derek Stingley. Number 11, Washington Commanders. Wide receiver, Jamison Williams. Number 12, Minnesota Vikings. Wide receiver, Chris Olave. Number 13, Houston Texans. Wide receiver, Treylon Burks. Number 14, Baltimore Ravens. D tackle, Jordan Davis. Number 15, Philadelphia Eagles, safety, Kyle Hamilton. And number 16, New Orleans Saints, wide receiver, Drake London.
Drake London. Okay, wow. All right. Few good surprises in there. All right, so let's go with number 17.
Okay. Number 17, the Los Angeles Chargers, offensive tackle, Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. And I will tell you this, when I did the show about the outstanding offensive linemen, and it was mostly offensive tackles, Trevor Penning's name did not come up. He was right on the edge, but he didn't quite make my list. But I got to tell you, if keeping Justin Herbert upright is of importance to the Chargers, which everybody knows it is, then you can't go wrong with a guy like this. He's 6'7", 325, and he can play guard too if necessary. That's a lot of bulk, a lot of arm length. This kid can really play, and he's huge. So offensive tackle Trevor Penning goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. At number 18, the Philadelphia Eagles get to pick again. Sorry, all you guys out there that wanted the Eagles to take another receiver, because I don't think it's going to happen. They take a D end. George Karlaftis. I want to make sure I said that last name right. His name is George Karlaftis. He's from Purdue. Now, the bottom line is the Eagles need to inject some youth onto their defensive line. Them guys are getting old. Kerrigan, Cox, Graham. Those dudes have been around for a long time. Karlaftis is a good player. He was on my list of top players at the position. And they definitely need an upgraded linebacker too, but let's face it, over the years, the Eagles have shown that they don't really value the linebacker position, because if they did, this would be the spot to take one. But I think they're going to take Karlaftis instead and try to get some fire going on that defensive line. Number 19, New Orleans Saints get the pick again, and they're going to try to get somebody in there that can protect Jameis. That would be offensive tackle Tyler Smith from Tulsa. Another position of need for the Saints. This guy is a devastating run blocker, and he may be better suited at guard, actually. But he can play tackle and guard, so he should fit right in there. They need some help on their offensive line. At number 20, a name you just asked for, you ask and you shall receive. Quarterback, Kenny Pickett. The Pittsburgh Steelers take Kenny Pickett from the University of Pittsburgh.
The fake slide guy.
Fake slide guy. I believe they're looking for Kenny Pickett to be their quarterback of the future. And he may, in fact, compete to start versus Mitchell Trubisky. Trubisky is with Pittsburgh, correct?
Yeah. And
so,
you know, it's funny. I was listening to them on some commentators giving much respect to the coaching staff for the Pittsburgh Steelers, talking about how they do such a great job. Who's the backup quarterback there?
Miles Rudolph, Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. I have a hard time thinking that a coach is a genius who continues to have Mason Rudolph as his backup quarterback.
Mason Rudolph won games for them.
Mason Rudolph is a nut and a bum, and he's not going to take you but so long story short, Mason Rudolph should have been gone.
Whoa. Dude, you sound like me. You never come at players like that.
I'm like, how do they keep these guys on the payroll? Well, I'm sorry. Best job in the NFL, backup quarterback.
You know, it's a syndrome that every team has, man. You get a guy, he's your starter. You know he's your starter. You're not looking for it. You don't draft a quarterback for 4 or 5 and 6 years because this is your guy. You know what I mean? And then you start slacking on the backup thing because the guy never gets hurt. And then all of a sudden he gets hurt. And then you realize, why do we still have this guy on our team? So then you got to try him out there. He wins a couple games, but yeah, everything you said was right. He's a bum. He stinks. And that's why they got Trubisky. But Trubisky's not going to carry them into the future. Trubisky is a stopgap.
Completely different style of play from Roethlisberger also.
Oh, absolutely. That'll be a challenge.
Not that we haven't seen the Steelers get that running mobile quarterback, you know, and try to do something with him. We've seen them do that in the past, but it never really lasted.
This is it. This is it right here. Either Trubisky's going to come through and prove that he should be the starter and they'll shape the offense around him, or he'll fall on his face and they'll get Pickett ready as fast as they can. Let's face it, I wouldn't say the Steelers are rebuilding because their defense is pretty good.
They won't say they're rebuilding.
No, I know they won't say they're rebuilding.
They won't say it.
I would say it, but I kind of feel the way they probably do, that they're not really rebuilding, but they do have their fingers crossed. Because let's face it, if your quarterback can't get it done, you're not going to be a winning team. But they have the run game. They have quality wide receivers. They got a heck of a freaking tight end that they just picked up. Freiermuth is going to be a top tight end this season and seasons going forward. He's going to nudge himself up there in that top 5, I think. I'm telling you, that guy's good. So offensively, Pittsburgh's cool. But again, they have to have a competent, at least, quarterback to keep things moving. So here we go. They put all their eggs in Mitchell Trubisky's basket. If they grab Pickett in the draft, and start to groom him, and Trubisky can toe the line for a little while, they'll be in good shape.
So what number was that?
That was number 20.
Number 20.
That's
Okay.
right. We're better than halfway there.
Oh, go ahead. Get them. Get them.
All right. New England Patriots at number 21. Linebacker. First linebacker taken. Devin Lloyd out of Utah. Now, I'm going to be honest. All right. I'm going to defer to the experts on this one. I don't know a whole lot about Devin Lloyd, but all I keep hearing is this guy looks like a Patriots type player. That's all I know. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to make nothing up. Okay. They said this guy screams Patriots, and Belichick has been looking at him hard. So linebacker, Devin Lloyd out of Utah to the New England Patriots. At number 22, the Green Bay Packers take one of my favorite, if not my favorite, wide receiver. You knew they had to take one. Jahan Dotson out of Penn State. Now, I love Jahan Dotson. I'm not going to say he's Devontae Adams, but he's as close as you're going to get to him right now. I believe Jahan Dotson he reminds me a lot of Chris Godwin from the Buccaneers. Funny, they both are out of Penn State. But they're getting themselves a nice playmaker, runs smooth routes, has good hands, very smooth routes, in fact. I really like this kid. So Jahan Dotson, I believe, will go to the Green Bay Packers. If, in fact, that happens, they won't be unhappy about it. At number 23, the Arizona Cardinals need help on defense. They go after a corner, Trent McDuffie out of Washington. Now, McDuffie's not real big, but he's a very physical player. He can play outside on the edges against wide receivers. He can also play slot corner, okay? So he fits in real nice with them. Number 24, Dallas Cowboys. They got to start fixing that offensive line. They go with a guard. First guard selected, I think, will be Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M. Obviously, they need some youth on their offensive line. They've lost some players, and some guys are starting to get old. So I like Kenyon Green to go to the Dallas Cowboys. 17, Los Angeles Chargers. Offensive tackle, Trevor Penning. Number 18, Philadelphia Eagles. Defensive end, George Karlaftis. Number 19, New Orleans again, offensive tackle, Tyler Smith. At number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers take quarterback, Kenny Pickett. At number 21, linebacker Devin Lloyd goes to the New England Patriots. At number 22, the Green Bay Packers select wide receiver Jahan Dotson. At number 23, the Arizona Cardinals take cornerback Trent McDuffie. And at number 24, the Dallas Cowboys go to a guard, Kenyon Green.
Wow. All right. Lineman making money.
Yes, sir.
Lineman making money. And again, if you get picked in this first round, then your rookie contract has a 5th-year option.
Yes.
So that's money. That's more money, more money, more money. Let's rack it up with the 4th quarter.
Okay. At number 25, the Buffalo Bills select cornerback Kaiir Elam, another one of my favorite defensive backs out of what used to be Defensive Back University, and that's the University of Florida. So Kaiir Elam from Florida, he's big, he's physical, and he runs a 4.3 40. This guy should be able to come in and start right away for the Buffalo Bills, who are definitely a Super Bowl contender. So that shores up the defense there for them. At number 26, the Tennessee Titans. This one, again, I'm going to defer to the masses on this one because I don't think I would have picked this guy for the Tennessee Titans. But from what I'm hearing, and I only go with some themes carry through everybody's mocks, and this one has been carrying. quarterback, Desmond Ridder, who I said could possibly go in the first round, but I doubted it, okay? Desmond Ridder to Tennessee. Again, I'm deferring to the masses. Everybody has this guy going to the Titans. I haven't heard almost anybody else say anybody else for the Titans besides Desmond Ridder. Let's face it, Tannehill is kind of on the downside. I mean, he had a big resurgence in his career when he first came over to the Titans from the Dolphins, but since then, it hasn't been so great. And I tell you what, he took a lot of heat for them losing in the playoffs last year. So
he played really, 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 really bad.
Yeah. So that might work out for Desmond Ridder. Okay. So after Tennessee, at number 27, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think their offense is all right, so I'm going to go defense for them. And I'm going to look at a safety, Lewis Cine, again, out of Georgia. Great speed, great in zone coverage, and a terrific downhill hitter in run support. This guy sounds like the perfect safety for the Tampa 2 defense. I like Lewis Cine to go to the Buccaneers. Number 28, Green Bay Packers select again. They take D tackle, Devontae Wyatt, now out of Georgia. Now, there aren't many exceptional interior defensive linemen, but Devontae Wyatt is definitely one of them. Again, from Georgia, so you know you pretty much can't go wrong. Most of the defensive linemen that have been taken or that I selected and that I believe will be selected tomorrow will be edge rushers. But there's a couple D tackles out there that I like. I think Green Bay grabs one of them in Devontae Wyatt. And I think at number 29, the Kansas City Chiefs, out of need, will also select a D tackle, and that would be Travis Jones out of UConn. He's very big. He's very strong. He's really tough. Great player against the run. I think he could be just what they need, trying to fix that iffy defense that I never believed in last year, even though they were winning games. I remember I said they were front runners, and anytime they got in a game that was really tough, their defense kind of let them down. But I think Travis Jones will be a big plus for them if they can get him and play him on the inside of that defensive line. At number 30, the Kansas City Chiefs get to pick again. And this time, I know, they need a receiver, and they get one. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I believe they'll go for a wide receiver. I'm looking at Garrett Wilson here, who's basically the other Ohio State wideout. Everybody loved both of them. Olave went early. Garrett Wilson, if he's still around, he'll be the guy to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. If he's not around, I still believe that they will take a receiver. This receiver thing, there's so many of them that it may get a little jumbled and guys might go in different order from what I said. But so if Garrett Wilson goes earlier, then maybe Jahan Dotson drops down or somebody else. But right now, I'm seeing Kansas City would basically have to take a receiver at this point. So I'm going to call it Garrett Wilson for them.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah.
What did the cheetah run in the 40?
I don't know, 4.29 or something.
Was it 4.29?
Something like that.
Garrett Wilson is 1 second behind him at about 4.38.
Yeah, he's fast, no doubt about it. That's why I said I'd be surprised if he's still there. But whoever the top receiver is, by the time we get to pick number 30, that's who Kansas City's going to take. All right. So as I was going through this, I'm picking these receivers and I'm putting them on teams that I think they fit in really well. And then all of a sudden I get down to Kansas City. I'm like, oh man, they need a receiver. And I said, hey, Garrett Wilson's still on my board. So I put him on there. At number 31, Cincinnati Bengals. They take cornerback Kyler Gordon. I don't know a whole lot about Kyler Gordon. The little bit that I was able to, a little bit of information that I was able to garner about him is that physically he's top notch. He's got good ball skills, but he's a little rough around the edges, but very coachable. And they think that he'll once he gets himself together, he will only get better once he gets in the NFL. So guess what? I'm going to take him because if they don't replace Eli Apple soon, somebody's going to shoot him going down the street or something. Like, I don't even know what this.
Yeah, let's not utilize that.
My daughter's cracking up. Okay, so number 32, last pick, Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams select my favorite linebacker, Nakobe Dean. The only reason, yes, now that's I'm predicting that 2 linebackers will go in the first round. And you already knew Nakobe Dean was my favorite. The only reason Devin Lloyd went before him is because everybody and their mother says that the New England Patriots really got this guy circled on their board. They love him. So the Rams make the smart pick for their team. They take Nakobe Dean, and he's really good against the run, and he can cover. I think he fits in perfectly for the Rams. So that last bunch we can go over again. I believe I started at number 25, Kaiir Elam to the Buffalo Bills, Desmond Ridder to the Tennessee Titans, Lewis Seen, safety, to Tampa Bay, D-tackle Devontae Wyatt to the Green Bay Packers, D-tackle Travis Jones to Kansas City. Then Kansas City comes back again, takes wide receiver Garrett Wilson. The Cincinnati Bengals select a corner, Kyler Gordon. And at number 32, in the last pick in the first round, the Los Angeles Rams select linebacker Nakobe Dean out of Georgia.
Man, that Georgia class reunion is going to be live.
Crazy.
All these pro players, I'm telling you. Well, that was pretty comprehensive, 1 through 32. Man, I tell you. We're not going to go too much further. I do want to mention, again, we have our social media. Ben, there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about on our Facebook page at BNBOF on Facebook. We also, again, on Instagram, Twitter, and of course, YouTube here. So, wow. What was probably the thing that you kind of, when you're picking the stuff, but sometimes you say to yourself, wow, how did I get here? Which moment was that in this 32?
Oh, well, there were several. But you mean as far as I surprised myself with who I thought should go to where? Oh, I don't know. There was a couple. Probably. Some of them were no-brainers. Jacksonville, Detroit, those early picks. Thibodeau to the Jets, those are early picks. Oh, Sauce Gardner going to my team, the Giants. I was torn because I was afraid that perhaps the Jets would take him. But I don't think they will. I think they like Thibodeau. And like I said, I heard rumors that they brought Thibodeau in for a couple of private interviews and workouts already, and that supposedly Robert Saleh really, really likes this kid. So I'm going to go with that and hope they do indeed take him, because if they do, that makes it easy for me. Now the Giants at number 5 can take the offensive tackle, because Carolina I think Carolina likes Cross, and they like the other kid, Evan Neal, a little better than they like Ike Ekwonu. But they can't go wrong, okay?
Can't go wrong with any of those.
Right.
You know what you were saying
take Ekwonu first, and then if they take Cross or the other kid, then the Giants come right back at 7 and they can get Sauce. So I'm good. I'm thrilled with that.
When you mentioned Thibodeau, I remember we talked about him in the actual statements, like he was saying, like, you can't teach me anything or whatever. And he got some, he raised some negative reactions, I think. But that has all seemed to have just gone away. And people, I think, are really warming up to this guy. Like you said, very, very intelligent, well-spoken. And, once you get a chance to kind of get to know him, you know what I mean?
The kid exudes personality. I mean, it's just pouring off of him.
Yeah,
It really is.
So they're liking him now. They're liking him now for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is the Ben Dickerson mock draft 2022, 1 through 32. Ladies and germs, if you really want to make any comments, come right on over. Let Ben know if you think something should be a slightly different way. You want to rearrange your 1 through 32. I would never challenge it because my mom I'd blow a gasket before I'd finish rewriting all of those 1 through 32. So,
this could all go to hell as soon as somebody makes a trade.
Oh yeah.
So, but I feel rather confident that the names you heard, if they don't go to the teams that I said they would go to, they're going to go to somebody. Those are all first round talents, except probably Ritter, who I think is going to be a need pick, and possibly Nakobe Dean, the last pick I got there for the Rams.
Guess what name I didn't hear in the first round?
Who's that?
Team name.
Because they don't have a first round pick.
We traded all that away.
Yes, you did. You can get one back though, maybe.
For Debo?
For Debo and or Jimmy G.
That's true. That's true. It would be funny if they traded Jimmy G and Debo to the same team.
No, that wouldn't be funny. That wouldn't be funny. That'd be insane. Don't do that. No.
Man, look, I don't know. Debo, I don't think it's still openly said he wants to be traded.
No, he openly said it.
Oh, did he openly say it?
Yes.
When? Today?
Today.
This afternoon?
Yes, he made it quite clear. And again, he's not being real specific about why. So there's a lot of speculation, and all the speculation sounds believable. My thing is, you have to be careful when you take a player like Debo, because first of all, evidently he doesn't want to continue doing what he's been doing. So that means if you take him, you're taking him as a top flight receiver, period. Is he a top flight receiver?
There's been plenty of skepticism to that. Media.
Right.
They were looking at some of his numbers as a receiver. They're like, the challenge is, when you're looking at a receiver's numbers in the Niner offense, it's, again, the way they run their offense, a lot of times those guys aren't going to have the best numbers. I think he can be a really good receiver. You probably saw my little Madden
Oh yeah. I get it. He's definitely above average.
He's not Devontae Adams, like they say.
No, not even close.
Now he's better than Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
So there's a floor for that contract right there.
Yeah.
And
I think that's probably one of the reasons, if not the top reason, that he wants to go. Because he knows he can get that money. Because
let me say this much also, because I think he can get the money with the Niners, especially if Jimmy G goes. So it's going to free up a lot of cap space. The thing about it is, I was thinking about it the other day, and I said, it kind of reminds me of the T.O. situation. Remember T.O., when he was backing up Rice, he was kind of like, a nice guy, quiet, doing his job, working hard. And then he made that catch in the playoffs against Green Bay. And he started crying and everything. it seemed like something clicked, and after that he became T.O. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
And you know, and
So now
again,
you're saying after last season and Debo doing all that he did, something clicked.
you couldn't get a bigger pendant than what he was wearing.
I got
I mean,
you.
you know, in his head, he had to be blowing up
I
a
got
little
you.
bit.
That's like I said, all we have is speculation and guesses because he won't be specific about it. So,
And the other thing is this: the offensive coordinator that ran that offense last year is gone. Now we know Kyle Shanahan calls the plays.
right.
If you ever want to see a convoluted bureaucracy of coaching, go look at the coaching staff for the Niners. You
Yeah.
don't know who's doing what, who's on
Oh
first.
no, it's Shanahan's show. On game day, it's his show.
It's his show on game day.
Yeah.
You know, so all of the other quality control people and assistant running, they have a running coach, a running offensive coordinator, and a passing offensive coordinator. So that in and of itself, I'm like, oh, yeah, you know. So anyway, Debo says he wants out. Like I said, if he wants out, you know, get what you can for him and move on, because this, I'm sure there's going to be, and you always give my Niners credit for being able to find those running backs and find those guys deep in it. So this seems to be one of those drafts where they're in there somewhere, second, third, fourth round. And if they can find a couple guys, you know, and they want to keep running that.
They got a good track record.
Okay.
They got a good track record. I'll give them that. I'll give them that.
So, all right, Ben. Great job. Great job. Any last words?
Go Giants. Go Knowles. Go Sixers.
Oh my goodness. I should say go Bulls, but I'm really not expecting them to beat.
Bro, stop. No.
All right.